Rui justified his action, explaining that for him, Wolf is the same as everyone else, and that he does not see any obstacles in the fact that Wolf is not a person. After all people, like fugitives in search of their essence, just like Wolf at the moment, strive to find their true path in this labyrinth of existence. Rui simply didn't want Wolf to become something he wasn't, because he realized that Wolf might seem rough and unapproachable on the outside, but inside he was kind and sensitive. When meeting with teachers and peers, Wolf became the target of discrimination, and he naturally did not like being the subject of resentment and misunderstanding. Charlotte instantly ran up to the guy, eager to find out if his friend was okay, as if showing concern in moments of uncertainty. Inviting the couple to relax, Wolf himself decided to show them something unusual, like a mysterious performance that was supposed to capture their imagination. Finally, he decided to show them the real himself, not the mask he walks under, but his true appearance as a wolf, as if revealing his soul to them. Literally a moment later, the guy and girl witnessed the real Wolf in his true appearance, as if revealing to them the secret of his true essence. Charlotte suggested that it was an atavism, giving the whole situation even more mystery, as if revealing unknown facets of not only the guy, but also nature itself. She had heard about this more than once, as if revealing to her a new world of secrets and mysteries, which she had only briefly touched upon in her previous knowledge. Long ago, beastmen had the amazing ability to change their appearance, as if resurrecting an ancient legend in their own incarnation. She had heard that nowadays very few beastmen were born with such an ability. So was the guy one of those unique creatures that were legendary. All those who dared to harm Wolf deeply regretted it, for he easily surpassed their strength, as if leaving them in helplessness and disappointment. The bandits desperately tried to defend themselves from the guy's attack, putting all their efforts into repelling his attacks, as if they were caught in a whirlwind of an unpredictable battle. Charlotte noticed that the wolf moved with amazing speed, like a shadowy, flashing lightning sword in the hands of an invisible warrior. Then the guy simply destroyed all the male guards like a whirlwind of unstoppable force, sweeping away everything in its path. After that, Jackson began to call someone out, as if a harbinger of new events developing an incredible intrigue. In his arsenal, as it turned out, there was an unusual weapon ally, a wise parrot, like an unusual ally in strategic intrigues. Wolf was surprised to discover that Jackson had such a rare weapon, as if confronted with an unexpected secret in his arsenal. Jackson tried his best to force the parrot to fly because he was deeply frightened and could not cope with this task, as if faced with unexpected difficulties. The boy could not allow the man to do this, as if he felt a deep responsibility and felt that he had the burden of protecting someone who could not protect himself. Jackson realized that he would have to sacrifice some essence or substance, as if faced with a difficult choice for the sake of the greater good. At the final stage, she only said that someone should undertake to deal with the guy, as if challenging and causing herself to take responsibility for resolving the situation. The initially ordinary and vague substance began to transform into some kind of monster, as if a monster with an uncertain threat was forming from the dark depths. Both of them found themselves in a state of bewilderment from what they saw, as if faced with something that went beyond their understanding and expectations. Jackson was not surprised that the guy was so scared, as if realizing that he was faced with something terrible and incomprehensible, which led to natural fear. This was a very rare representative of slimes, because it sucked things into itself and increased in size, as if possessing unique properties among its species. Jackson didn't want to use it for Wolf's sake, but he knew it was his fault that he attacked him himself, as if bringing on the need for extreme measures. Wolf felt that he needed to catch up with the man before he could strike, as if realizing that now was the moment to take decisive action. At this time, he simply stood there, posing no threat, as if remaining calm and carrying himself in a peaceful manner. But only after some time did he finally make some kind of movement, and it became clear that he was trying to grab Wolf, as if launching a surprise attack. Fortunately, the guy easily dodged this attack, as if showing brilliant agility and avoiding trouble. But the stranger, who was passed out, found himself under the attack, as if becoming an unfortunate accidental participant in what was happening. Something strange was happening in that bubble. The slime began to absorb the stranger, as if immersing him in its unusual essence, causing mysterious changes. The slime absorbed him, as if plunging him into the unknown depths of his inner world, leaving behind only mysterious traces of what happened. When the enemy tried to grab Rui, Charlotte managed to save him in time, as if showing accuracy and determination in protecting her friend. The monster then began to attack the rest of those present, like a whirlwind of chaos and fear, causing a storm of struggle for survival in this incredible confrontation. They then realized that this A-rank monster was extremely dangerous, as if facing a force beyond their normal perception and resistance. If Wolf remains in this barn, he will be sucked in, as if emphasizing the inevitability of the danger and the monster's insistence on absorption. He needed to get out, as if faced with a growing threat that emphasized the urgency of his actions. The guy realized that he would have to figure out how to fight such a monster, as if faced with a challenge that required special understanding and skills. After all, even experienced adventurers fight in groups with such monsters, as if emphasizing the complexity and seriousness of the situation in which the guy found himself. But Rui asked his friends not to give up, because if he is not stopped now, it will only get worse, as if calling for decisive action in the face of an advancing threat. Thanks to Charlotte's treatment, the guy was able to begin to move, as if coming to life under her caring hands and regaining his strength. Rui decided to use a technique called glaciation, as if turning to his unique abilities in the fight against the monster. And strangely enough, a real block of ice appeared around the monster, as if the result of a magical combination of the efforts of Rui, Charlotte, and the guy. The icy appearance of the monster became more and more complete and massive, as if its essence was sealed in a cold shell. He, concentrating all his efforts, tried to get out of this ingenious trap, as if every movement became a test of will and endurance for him. To some extent, he managed to get out, and he attacked the defenseless and weak Rui at the moment, as if trying to use his instant freedom to counterattack. Charlotte couldn't just stand by and watch this. After all, she also needed to stand out, as if she was taking decisive measures to help Rui at this critical moment. Then at some point, it so happened that the monster literally swallowed the entire barn, as if devouring its walls and ceiling, leaving only traces of its greedy presence. Wolf continued to insist that they needed to escape before it was too late, as if sensing a growing threat within the space consumed by the monster. Well, the guy and Charlotte had a different opinion and began to fight the monster, as if they had decided not to give up in front of the incredible challenge that had to be overcome. The girl decided to use the technique of the heroic heart of Sakura, as if calling upon herself the strength and determination that are comparable to the splendor of spring blossoms. Then, with all her determination, she was fully prepared to attack, as if preparing for an impressive and powerful lunge towards the monster. She, framed by an atmosphere of mystery, conveyed that she entrusts everything unspoken to Rui, expressing boundless trust and creating a whirlwind of mystery and expectation around herself. As if with a magical brushstroke, he wove into his assurances not only firm certainties, but also invisible threads of concern, creating an invisible thread that connected their hearts in an invisible dance of devotion and hope. The monolith of the monster, under the power of an icy spell, disappeared under a blanket of ice, like a frozen secret, giving the landscape a gloomy beauty in which unknown mysteries of history were hidden. There was disbelief in Wolf's eyes, as if he were still wandering in the shadows of doubts, not believing that they really held this giant of time and fate. They stayed with the Ice Titan behind, only to begin racing in pursuit of Jackson, as if time was short and their fate depended on every moment they lived. After this epic battle, Rui realized that his strength had not yet fully returned, as if the inner fire, although burning brightly, took time to flare up again at full power. With Charlotte among them, amid the echoes of the battle, they claimed that Jackson had gone far ahead, hidden in the shadows of distant horizons, as if finding him had become an impossible mission in the ocean of the night. Wolf, filled with confidence, assured that he could catch up with Jackson by following the scent like a wolf that scents prey, opening up the possibility of catching up with the fugitive in this hunt for the traitor. Showing an unprecedented sense of humor, Wolf asked with a smile if the guy was going to climb on him, as if playfully ignoring the shadow of uncertainty that hovered in the air. With a slight wink, Wolf noted that if the guy decided to do this, it would become a symbol of absolute trust, like an unusual gesture that warmed the coolness of the night with unusual friendship and trust. With sadness in his voice, Wolf noted that he could not yet fully trust all people, as if shadows of suspicion still flickered in his eyes, crowding his soul. Wolf, having weighed his experiences, realized that his characteristics were different from others, and this understanding had accompanied him for a long time, as if an integral part of his uniqueness in this world. With trepidation in his voice, Wolf, eager to avoid the impression of favor, asked for help rather than doing them a favor, as if the mixture of vulnerability and strength in his request gave the moment special depth. Charlotte, possessed of determination, decided to take responsibility for those who were consumed by the slug and set out to deal with Jackson, as if she were an integral part of their destiny, filled with secrets and challenges. With an unexpected burst of friendship, the boy climbed onto the shoulders of his comrade, and together they rushed forward like a whirlwind, in which strength and determination merged, filling the night with the sonorous echo of their decisive procession. Using the bracelet Jackson found among the ruins of the capital, they deciphered the mysterious signs that opened the way forward for them, like a luminous thread leading through the dark labyrinths of the past. The bracelet was decorated with a large stone, and undoubtedly it was not just a treasure. By selling it along with the mysterious bird, they could get a significant amount, as if exchanging the mysterious for the material in this game of fate. He vowed unforgiveness, deciding that by reviving his gang, he pursues the goal of taking revenge on them for all their troubles, as if creating the shadow of a majestic vendetta in his fate. Wolf, like a cunning hunter, picked up the man's scent and instantly set off in pursuit, as if dancing with the wind, where the scent became a thread leading him to a hidden goal. With the news that Jackson had already left the city limits, Wolf shared the information like the wind carrying the news of his departure, and embodied his determination to catch up with him into the desert of the night. Wolf, imbued with a premonition of future events, enthusiastically anticipated the upcoming meeting, as if in a previously unraveled chapter of his adventure novel. With the agility of a predator, he easily began to climb up the wall like a shadow, slowly and silently, enveloping himself in the invisible veil of the night hunt. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared from one side of the fence, like shadows crossing the line between light and darkness, leaving behind the bustling world of the city. Wolf, standing on the new side of the city labyrinth, asked what they should do next, as if the starting point of the adventure now required a choice of direction. Rui insisted that they must attack Jackson without letting him escape, as if the strategy required decisive action to ensure that the moment of retribution was not lost. With a refined strategy, Rui took advantage of the medium gravity, as if cunningly playing a game with gravity, to approach his goal with irresistible determination. Jackson was faced with a lack of understanding of what was happening, while the guy, enjoying the moment, mocked him, as if he had mastery over the secrets of their power. It was time to move on to the next stage of their plan, as if the puzzle pieces of an adventure were beginning to fit into a single canvas, awaiting completion. After that, everything depended on the guy, as if he was a key player in their strategy, and all eyes were directed in his direction, awaiting his next moves. He began to rise up in front of them, preparing for the next leap, as if there was a tense energy in the air, and the upcoming jump promised to change the course of events. With a series of worries and expectations, he flew into the air, performing the promised jump, as if a wave of action was catching them, carrying them into the next episode of this night's performance. With a mocking grin, the guy announced that it seemed like they hadn't met for a long time, as if he were in line with his own game and using a cunning move in his secret plan. Jackson couldn't understand with amazement how the guy managed to get into him, as if the mysterious meeting was shrouding them in questions, putting on a cloak of opaque mystery. Jackson tried in vain to pay off the guy, but he, being principled, insisted that he did not need the stolen things, as if refusing temptation in favor of his principles. Even as he began to offer him a woman as compensation, Jackson was aware that the guy remained unforgiving in his beliefs, as if warning him against a dark path. With pride and confidence, the guy declared that he was not interested in all these attempts to pay off because he already had his beloved, as if protecting his world from alien interference. In response to these words, the guy's next move was to hit the man, as if expressing his adamant unwillingness to negotiate and emphasizing his determination through the language of physical force. Rui used a technique called ground golden shell, as if revealing his prowess in fighting and creating a whirlwind of brilliance and elegance within the chaos of the fight. The blow was so powerful that Jackson was thrown several meters into the air, as if becoming part of a temporary dance of power, where gravity succumbed to the power of his crushing blow. With this sudden turn of events, they were given the opportunity to relax, as if the shadow of tension gave way to calm and their adventure phase paused for a moment. The main character politely asked the parrot if it could land, as if addressing an exotic companion with a question about the possibility of descending to the ground. Having landed, the guy immediately began to maneuver, calling his friend to look after the parrot, as if creating a picturesque picture of the interaction between members of their difficult team. With surprise, it became clear that Wolf managed to catch Jackson at the moment of his landing, as if through the magic of events, where dexterity and cunning weaved an invisible network around the characters. The guy, with his eyes evaluating every word, asked if Rui trusted him, as if the issue of trust had become a key point in their relationship. With a smile, the main character joked that he was not entirely aware of what the guy was talking about, as if adding humor to their dialogue and softening the tension of the moment. Now all that remained was to follow Charlotte, because she was still continuing her mission of rescuing the thieves, as if revealing new chapters of their adventurous journey. Noticing the man's bracelet, the main character somehow found it familiar, like a surge of long-forgotten memories calling to the secrets of their past. Wolf, turning to his friend, began to find out if anything unusual had happened, as if carefully monitoring the well-being of the main character. It didn't take long before they found themselves next to Charlotte, as if their paths had merged in a dance of destinies and adventures, trusting the course of events. During this time, Charlotte truly provided assistance to all those affected, as if her good deeds became an integral part of their struggle for justice and well-being. It is quite natural that at this moment the knights came, as if the embodiment of the defenders of justice, adding a share of mystery and nobility to their plot. Now they were faced with the task of proving Wolf's innocence, as if the beginning of a new stage, where truth and justice were once again in the balance. This was probably the most difficult thing in their work, as if solving the mystery and protecting innocence required effort, will, and the combined strength of all forces. Yuri asked the knights to file a report on the damage caused, as if using his authority to assert the veracity of their position in a difficult situation. The guy expressed his intense indignation at what had happened, as if the fire in his eyes flickered with indignation, and his emotions spoke the language of protest and rejection. Yuri expressed his contempt for the thieves, claiming that even his stomach felt heavy at their presence, as if the words filled the air with condemnation and disgust. In addition, the parrot for some reason also seemed to be alarmed and did not listen, as if sharing its anxiety with those around it. However, in the end, the parrot seemed to find a common language with the guy and became friends, as if taming even the most rebellious birds with his charm. Wolf suggested that apparently, the parrot expresses a desire to become his friend, as if unraveling the language of birds and opening a new chapter in their adventurous union. In addition, it turned out that the guy is able to understand what the parrot is talking about, thanks to his ability called atavism, as if opening up new facets of mutual understanding for them. Since the guy was more of an animal than a man, he could somehow understand the conversations of animals, as if animal whispers sounded in his soul, revealing the mysterious world of wild nature. The guy decided to ask the manager if he could take the parrot in, as if smoothly moving from mysterious languages to practical solutions in their lives. The main character could not understand why he liked this parrot so much, as if the mystery of his attachment to his feathered friend remained unsolved. It seemed to Wolf that he knew the reason for this attachment, as if secrets flickered in his eyes, far from the gaze of everyday life. Because Wolf feels extraordinary energy and strength in the parrot, incommensurate with its tiny body, as if incredible magic and power were hidden in this feathered creature. Wolf never understood why the main character always strives to help everyone around him, as if this riddle contained the mysterious essence of his soul, full of kindness and attention to others. He may have power